never did Facebook. It took me a very long time to even have my first computer, and I'm a little bit like against all this industrialization of things. The Luddite movement was in England, I think in the 1800s, a revolutionary movement. They started to destroy machines. But then this term in modern age became more of some people who hate machines. I adopted it because for a long time I worked with this performance group where everybody was under pseudonym. I had to find a name for myself. So in the beginning I was more painting, oil painting, but I always painted since I was a child. My mother was very supportive for art.
Is on fire, is on fire, is on fire, is on fire.
At the same time I traveled a lot, and as you maybe know, as a painter you amount a lot of stuff, a lot of physical material that you can't move around all the time. So I said, okay, I stopped painting altogether, but at the same time I discovered collage, and ever since then I annually, almost every year, make in the winter a collage book. And but they are unicuts. I don't print them. I many times was asked, why don't you bring them out, print them, sell the copies? I said, no, for one thing they are like a diary, and for another thing you can't reproduce it, because I work with these layers that you can outfold the pages and so on. If you would want to print something like that, it's impossible to pay.
Die Postkarten sind so entstanden, dass ich ganz viel immer gesammelt habe und dann irgendwas aussortiert und was ich nicht mehr haben wollte. Und normalerweise mache ich ja Bücher eigentlich. Ich mache also diese Wandcollagen, das ist auch, so arbeite ich. Da habe ich hier der ist zum Beispiel dieser Umschlag, unglaublich aber wahr. Und so arbeite ich das Buch rein, also von der Wand. Und dann, wenn da Lücken entstehen, mache ich wieder neue Dinger drauf. So. Und was ich aussortiert hatte, was ich nicht in Büchern benutzen wollte, da war dann eine riesen Kiste dabei. Und dann hatte ich ungefähr 150 Postkarten. Ich habe dann einfach nur ganz schnell Patsch, 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 Patsch gemacht. Und so sind die Postkarten entstanden und die sind quasi fertig. Aber diese Sachen, die gehen immer weiter und verändern sich, bis sie dann im Buch landen, sozusagen. Ja. Und das ist eine Manie. Ich sammle halt Bilder, die mir gefallen, weil als ich aufgehört habe, Malereien zu machen, habe ich gesagt, es gibt schon so viele Bilder auf der Welt. Warum muss man immer neue Bilder erschaffen? Weil man kann ja auch die ganzen alten Bilder benutzen, die schon da sind, sozusagen. Ja. Und so, deswegen habe ich dann angefangen mit der Collage.
I'm born in West Germany during Cold War, but my father is from Denmark. My mother is from Eastern Prussia, like the area around Kaliningrad. I never identify as with nationality somehow. But I felt I have to leave Germany because during this time in West Germany it was so horribly Americanized, and there was all this capitalism and starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I realized that, okay, I want to go and find my new home somewhere. It should not be in Germany. It turned out that I traveled for about 15 years, where I never stayed anywhere longer than 3 months, all around the world. I mean, not all continents, but pretty much Asia, Australia, United States, Northern Africa, and all over Europe. It sounds somehow romantic, like this world globetrotter, you know, goes all over the world and sees different cultures. And of course, for my art studies and culture and ethnographic studies, it was great because I learned a lot about different cultures, but exhausting after so many years. And on one of my journeys, I met the Finnish poet Jusku Ihalainen. And we became instantly quite good friends. Jusku had always invited me to come to Finland whenever I want. And then came, and after 3 weeks almost left again. But then he brought me to a commune in a forest. And when I saw this place, I thought, this is it. I knew it immediately. So the first 3 years here in Finland, I lived there in the forest and met relatively little new people because it's a very isolated place, and only when there was some events or something then people came for a weekend, but you don't make friends easily. But then I went to one party one winter, and there were only art students from Tampere city. It's like one of the big cities in Finland. And they were all about graduating, and I got friends with them immediately. I moved to Tampere from the commune, and that group was very influential for me because I had never gone to academy, but these people went to academy but were totally sick of it. And then they were happy to have a little bit like 10-year-older mentor. We squatted a house in Tampere that was empty. Old wooden house that was supposed to be demolished. So we made the plan and went to the city and said, look here, we want to make a gallery and event space, cultural space. Then they said, okay. And so this yearly performance festival called Performansi Fiesta developed. So through that I gathered a lot of experience. I noticed I enjoy more and more to organize things for other people.
We have here our very own village fool, the artistic director Philip, who has been kind of masterminding this performance and multi-art event.
So the name is Kylähulujaiset. And Kylähulu, a person which is Kylähulu, it's like the village fool in the old tradition of the word, like not a little bit different kind of person, not a complete madman, but somebody who transcends all the norms of society, like the trickster or the shaman, who kind of has the ability to go over taboos. That is also the concept of this festival or this summer camp, that we make culture aimed at the village population. It's not a festival where we say, okay, we make a Facebook event and we invite as many hundreds of people from outside. We advertise it only in the email list that goes out to all the population of our village, and then I put up this old school posters everywhere in the landscape, somewhere in the forest, somewhere on the field, like this.
Space time continuum. Those limitations can kill you. I prefer fandom.
Viaton.
Non Grata came and they saw my work, and I asked, hey, could I come along for a tour? And I kind of slipped in the last moment, and they said, like, okay, you come to Paris with us. But then in the end, I stayed on the whole 3 weeks because they saw what I did, and I just fitted in perfectly. And they were insane, and you know, you sit in a small minivan with 10 people for 3 weeks non-stop, and everybody is a hardcore individualist artist, drama queens, whatever, you know, so it can be quite exhausting. And then you go every second day to another city, and sometimes driving straight, for example, from Paris to Prague in one go with 2 drivers, you know, like. And yeah, then every place you go and perform, the organizers want to party with you after the thing. And you are already totally exhausted from the journey and from performing, and then you have to party every place you go. It's a very intensive format they have, and it is, you get, there are coming situations where you really find your borders, how much you can get out of yourself, but also how much you can tolerate these other assholes in the van, you know. So it was a very, very valuable experience. And so this format we did back then was that there was a certain group of non-gratans who came several times, and there was, every year was different people from different parts of the world as well. So it became this universe became this really international powerhouse. So yeah, so painting was given up for collage, and in the same time I started to perform. At first, my first public performance was in Treptower Park in Berlin, in front of the big statue where there's the soldier with the sword destroying swords. And nobody knew about it. And it was really cold winter day, and I was there making some weird ritual, and there was only one old friend and my brother and his girlfriend. So that's how I started, without any forum or people having knowledge that I'm doing something.
Sono bellezzato, voglio andare sono bellezzato, voglio andare
And especially because I was always looking for a little bit more critical, hardcore approach, you know, that I really use my body for real, and I don't use ketchup for blood, I use pig blood or whatever, like Hermann Leach style. So I was looking for this rough edge of performance art.
Queer is a territory of tension, defined against the dominant narrative of white hetero-monogamous patriarchy, but also by an affinity with all who are marginalized, other-sized and oppressed. Queer is abnormal, the strange, the dangerous. Queer involves our sexuality and our gender, but so much more. It is our desire and fantasies, and more still. Queer is the cohesion of everything in conflict with the heterosexual capitalistic world. Queer is a total rejection of the regime of the normal.
You're an outsider artist.
You can say that, yeah, and some of my friends, like professional artists here in Finland, they definitely see me like that. Yeah, I can live with that, because I never wanted to be in the establishment, even when in some points in my life I would have had chance to really hit it big in Cologne or somewhere. I didn't want it. Or people wanted to buy my paintings, I said, no, I'm not selling. So I was very arrogant in that way, but so I kept myself consciously away from this whole market and business world around art. And then automatically become an outsider, you know. If you don't do this for money, but for your passion, then you must do it, no matter what.